Hey everybody, Andrew here from Align.ly. In this video, we're going to cover the 8 tips to close the lead to contact gap inside of Salesforce so you can execute an account-based or account-centric strategy across both sales and marketing. Enjoy. The first tip is to implement lead to account matching. Now, there are a few different tools on the market that do this. Align.ly's free Salesforce app does this very well. So feel free to go to our website and download the Align.ly app. So let me show you why it's important to implement lead to account matching. So first, I'm going to show you a quick example. So let's go create a new lead. I'm just going to quickly do this. And the email domain is going to be Carrizo. And there's already an account in the system, and there's already a contact on that account with the carrizo.com email address. So what the Align.ly app automatically does is it summarizes up that email domain to the account. And now when I create this lead, it's going to match the Carrizo account. So let's go ahead and save this. And if I scroll down here, you're going to see the matched account is Carrizo. Now, why that's important is because if I'm a sales rep and this new lead comes into the system, one, I can quickly see that it's matched to an account. And I can go look at the account and see everything in a holistic manner. Two, and this is a feature of the Align.ly Salesforce app as well, is there's a setting where if it matches the account, I can assign the lead owner to the account owner. So super useful if, for example, you have an account executive that might be working a deal on an account and he owns the account and a new lead comes in from that account, you're going to want to bypass the sales development team or the business development team and go right to that account executive. The same is true if a SDR or BDR owns an account, is prospecting into it, and a new lead comes into that account, you're going to want it to go right to that SDR or BDR. So new lead comes in, rep sees that it matched an account, you click on the account, and part of the Align.ly app is you can put a related list of all the matched leads, and you're going to see the lead I just created is right here. So now a BDR, SDR can see the complete picture of the account, and they can approach this account from an account-centric or account-based manner. So we'll get into more detail about how we can improve the execution in our other tips, but this tip is implementing lead to account matching, and it's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is to push all marketing engagement into Salesforce campaigns. And the reason we use Salesforce campaigns is because Salesforce campaigns can span across both leads and contacts. So it closes that divide. And then a bunch of other benefits, and we'll be talking about those in later tips. But what you can do, and what I recommend, is push them into Salesforce campaigns so that it's human readable, so that your sales development reps or business development reps can easily see the campaign history and understand exactly what it means. And what I mean by that is I can easily tell right here that Sophia did not attend the conversions through the funnel webinar. And if I scroll over, we could even pass UTM parameters in so that our BDR or SDR would know that they actually came from a co-branded partner email from our partner SalesLoft. And you can see down here, we can also push in things like it came from our house database and it was an A/B test. So email number 1 or email A, or even things like, if it's search terms, what search term did they search? And the great part about doing this on the campaign member object versus lead or contact is that it's a one-to-many relationship, so that each time somebody's added into a Salesforce campaign, we could have a unique UTM source as well as unique details about the campaign that they were part of. So that's tip number 2, pushing all of your marketing engagement into Salesforce campaigns. Tip number 3 is to have a related list for your campaign members on lead, contact, account, and opportunity. So if I go over to a lead here, and I look at campaign history, this is probably something you already have here, where every time somebody's added to a campaign, they're already on lead and contact. But the key here is to also roll it up to account. So let's go look at that Carrizo account that we talked about in tip number 1. And what we can do here is if I scroll down to the campaign members, and let's just do view all so we can get a little cleaner view, is we can see every single touch point in this account across both contacts and leads as well. And that's because we implemented lead to account matching in tip number 1. So now if I'm a BDR or an SDR, I can easily get a complete overview of every single touch point in this account. And rather than just calling into the last person that did something, I can now formulate a plan based on all the prior engagement on the account. And I can multi-thread sell, educate the account, and hopefully increase conversion rates, not only to the first meeting, but also throughout the funnel to close one business. That's tip number 3. It's adding related lists to campaign members on lead, contact, account, and opportunity. Tip number 4 is to put a formula field for account stage as of now on the campaign member record. So let's talk about this. What's really difficult is for a BDR or SDR is if a new lead comes in to understand what's the stage of that account. Where is that account right now? Has there ever been an opportunity on it? Is it currently an open opportunity? Are they a customer? Were they previously closed lost? That's difficult to understand and typically takes a bunch of clicks in Salesforce. But one of the things you can do is you can add a formula field to campaign member. And going back to tip number 1, if you use our lead to account matching, what we can do is we can create a formula field that even if it's a lead, so for example, down here, these are leads, but we're able to understand that, for example, this one right here, that this account was previously closed lost because we were able to match to an account and know that it was closed lost. For the ones that are prospect, that means there's never been an opportunity on the account. So if I'm an SDR or BDR, I can feel pretty confident that if I just move forward, I want to look at the account and see who else is engaged, but I don't need to go look to see if there's open opportunities or if they're a customer or go look at opportunity history. I can just move forward and be efficient with my day. So the account stage as of now is part of the Align.ly Salesforce package, which is free. But let me just quickly show you how this is set up in case you want to do something similar in your own environment. So let's just go to Setup. And I'm going to go to Object Manager. And I'll go to the campaign member object, field relationships. And then let's go look at account stage as of now. So here is that formula field. Let me just make this a little bit bigger. So what this is doing is if contact ID is not blank, meaning that the record is a contact, we're just going to grab the account stage. And this is the Align.ly Manage package. So we're going to grab account stage. If the matched account is not blank, we're going to go grab account stage from that matched account. And if we don't have a matched account, we're just going to say it's unknown. That'll also help the BDR to know that, hey, this lead might not have matched to an account. There might not be any accounts in the system. So that's kind of how you set this up. And that's tip number 4. And it's putting account stage as of now on the campaign member record. Tip number 5 is to build a Salesforce report of all marketing engagement that is a list of everyone that's been added into campaigns that includes all campaign members where the lead owner or the account owner is the logged in user. So the rep that's currently looking at that report. So therefore, you can have one report across all reps, and it's going to span across leads and contacts accounts. And as you can see, this is kind of a culmination of tips 1 through 4 as well. We've got our engagement date, so we're going to be able to see every single touch point. We've got the account stage as of now, so a sales rep will be able to know exactly where that account stands. We're going to talk about this in a later tip, but you've got how the team is following up. You've got exactly what they did in a human readable campaign. And then if I scroll all the way over, we got contact information, again, owners, and UTM parameters for additional details to give that rep context into exactly how that prospect found you and what they might be interested in. So great way to span both leads, contacts, accounts, have one report across the entire team, both all BDRs, SDRs, account executives, even customer success can have a report like this if they own accounts. So really simple way to have everything in one place for a rep to see, and there's no excuse for them not to follow up. So that's tip number 5, and it's building an all marketing engagement report using campaign members that shows all leads, contacts, and accounts that a sales rep owns. Tip number 6 is to have follow-up status, attempts, connects, and a successful outcome on the campaign member object. And this is part of the free Salesforce app that Align.ly has developed. So I'm on a campaign member record here for Aaron Pace, part of the conversions through the funnel campaign. And if I scroll down here, you're going to notice that there's a section here for Align.ly follow-up. So the engagement date was 11/5/2019 at 7:31 a.m. So what the follow-up is going to do is every task that's logged after the engagement date is going to be summarized here. And Align.ly is smart enough to know if it's an attempt or a connect, whether it's a call, email, or LinkedIn. So you're going to notice here that the first attempt was about 15 minutes after the engagement date. It was a call attempt, and then later on in that morning, there was a connect. And you can see there's a total of 2 attempts, 1 connect, and both attempts were calls. So what does this look like when we go look at the all activity or all engagement report? So if I go to reports, and this was in tip number 5, is we can now see here, based on all the engagement, how many times has the sales team followed up. So a lot of these, the team hasn't followed up yet. This is just a demo account. But you can see total attempts, total connects, and the follow-up status will automatically flip based on if there are attempts or connects. So it'll go from open to attempting to connected, and then if a meeting is set, it'll display, demo, discovery call, whatever you want it to say. So if I scroll down here you're going to see those examples, right? So here, there's a discovery call scheduled, and it looks like the account stage then moved to pipeline. So the benefit of doing this on campaign member is if you're doing a good job with marketing and you're nurturing your leads along, multiple people might be engaging with multiple assets, campaigns. And as a marketer and even as a sales rep, you're going to want to know after each time somebody did something, did I acknowledge that? Did I follow up? Did I do my best to try to convert that or educate that person along to becoming an opportunity? The flip side of this is if a sales rep feels like they should not follow up, you can add a disposition field so that they can select why they chose not to follow up. So that's tip number 6, and it's adding follow-up status to the campaign member object. Tip number 7 is to use all this work we did around campaign members and campaigns for multi-touch attribution. And this uses the Align.ly Salesforce application, which again is free. So let's walk through what this looks like. So this is a pre-built report that you get with Align.ly when you install the Align.ly Salesforce app. And what we're seeing here is this is grouped by associated opportunity. So here's the opportunity for Carrizo. And what we're going to see is every single touch point leading up to that opportunity. That's where opportunity type is sourced. And then this accelerated touch point means that it happened after the opportunity was created, but before it closed. So the Unleash 2019 conference helped accelerate this deal. So if we scroll over here, we can see we've got 3 attribution models. We've got our first touch. So the first touch in this series of touch points gets 100% weight for first touch. We've got last touch, which is the last touch before it was converted to an opportunity. That's still sourced. And then we've got linear, which looks at equal weight across all 7 touch points. So we're setting 17% to each touch point. So that's how you can do multi-touch attribution using the free Salesforce app from Align.ly. But let's go look at what our paid app looks like and what additional details you can get. So here I'm just showing you the multi-touch attribution. But what we can do here is we can start to slice and dice by any of the fields in Salesforce that we have. So previously I talked about collecting UTM parameters, campaign types, campaign names, engagement dates. So we can look at, right now I'm looking at campaign type. So case studies, we can kind of see that webinars are outperforming. And again, what you're seeing here are the 3 different attribution models. So first touch, last touch, and linear. So we can quickly get an eyeball and see that webinars are outperforming other campaign types. We can also look at it by individual campaigns. So the conversions through the funnel webinar, that's also doing extremely well for us. We can see that it's not doing as good as the first touch, but it is doing well as the last touch. So this is helping convert people to opportunities. I can look at things like, what term are people searching for? So here it's just a branded term for Align.ly. It looks like there's only 1 app. We can look at things like what content. So we've got a blog modal. We've got branded search. We've got a co-branded partner email that's helping contribute to pipeline. Source. I think you can kind of get the idea of, all right, we got Google, we got house database. And after you put one of these filters on, you can actually even go a step further and apply additional filters. And again, these are on any field you have in Salesforce. So if you want to say, well, what does attribution look like if we have at least 500 employees in the account? Or if we had at least, 1 attempt, you can start to see, how does that change the attribution picture? So you can kind of imagine that this is a great way to kind of really filter, drill down, and understand what's working, what's not working with your campaigns. Not only your marketing campaigns, but maybe even your outsourced BDR prospecting, deal registration, word of mouth. You can push all that stuff into campaigns and analyze it here. And the final piece to all this, if I just turn off these filters, is you can drill down and see exactly what these underlying opportunities are, what they look like, where are they at the current stages, and then you can click right into Salesforce and see what the opportunity is, additional details about that opportunity. So really simple, really intuitive way to look at attribution. And that's just only one piece of our paid app here. So that's tip number 7. It's use all the work you did around Salesforce campaigns and campaign members for multi-touch attribution. Tip number 8 is to use campaigns and campaign member data to calculate your metrics, conversion rates, and analyze your funnel. So one of the great things, if you followed tips 1 through 7, is that all of our data is structured in a way where it's really easy to filter, report on, slice and dice. So I'm looking at a campaign member record here, and we have the lead to account matching. We know the account stage at the time of the engagement. So here they're a prospect. We have the account stage as of now, which is their pipeline. So we know there's a conversion event. We know that their attribution type was sourced, so it happened before the opportunity was created. We have the associated opportunity, so we can report on any fields of opportunity. There's a lot we can do with this data, and then we also know exactly the UTM parameters and how the sales team followed up and that they actually scheduled a discovery call and created that opportunity. So what we can do is with all this data in the Align.ly app is we can sync that over and start to visualize this data, drill into it, and really understand exactly what this means for our business. So I'm on the metrics tab here, and I'm on just a marketing top of funnel dashboard, and this is a quarterly dashboard. You can build out as many dashboards as you want, and you can put any types of metrics, whether it be a number, a ratio, or a conversion rate. So what you're seeing here is very simple. Marketing qualified leads for where we are at the quarter, against our goal of 150. How are we doing against where we should be in the quarter? So we're a little behind, and we're a little ahead of where we were last quarter. We had 38. You can see the ratio of marketing qualified leads to a marketing qualified account, which is 1.3. We've set a target of 3, so we're well behind that target. We got our marketing qualified accounts, 32. Our goal is 50. You can see our conversion rate from marketing qualified account to sales qualified opportunity, and then all the way through to 1 opportunity. So, and then you can also drill into any of these. So like, for example, if I want to see what are the marketing qualified accounts, there's 32 of them. I can click into that. Total record is 32. So I can see all of these. I can see where they currently stand, and have all that data. And I can also click right over to Salesforce and see what the account looks like in Salesforce. But the way these metrics are built is if we go over to configuration, we go to a query. So we build a query, and we've got our MQL, MQA, SQL query. So we're using one query across all those metrics. And really what we're doing here is we're saying that the campaign member has to be responded. At the time of the engagement, the account stage has to be prospect. So because this is top of funnel, we don't want to include anybody that when they're engaging, there's already an open opportunity on the account or they're already a customer. At the account level, we're saying the account type has to be an end user account. And this is just pulling in from type field. So really what we're saying here is we don't want analysts, vendors, partners, competitors to be showing up in our MQL numbers. We could put filters on things like industry or employee counts, or we can even have a custom formula field for TAM, so total addressable market. We can come up with a more complicated definition there if we wanted to. You can sync in any custom field that you want. And you can drill down even further. You can say things like at the leader contact level, maybe they have to be an ideal persona. And you've got a formula field that's calculating that based on job title or persona or something else. Maybe they have to be in certain countries. Maybe they have to have an engagement score or a HubSpot score or Marketo score of a certain threshold. You might say like 25. This makes sure your definitions are consistent and that they flow all the way through your funnel. So that's metrics. The other thing you can look at is your actual funnel. And again, these are customizable. You can build as many funnels as you want. You can build out the definitions of them. This is a campaign follow-up funnel. So right now we're looking at everything, but I can go ahead and filter down on this. And I can look at things like a specific campaign. So let's look at the conversions through the funnel campaign. We had 37 campaign members in the campaign. We've only followed up with 9 of them so far. We've connected with 5, scheduled discovery calls with 3, and created 3 opportunities. And I can have another slice here that's number of 1 opportunities if I chose to, or even a definition for progression or each stage of the opportunity. We can see how that's moving through the funnel. That's just one example, but you can do all sorts of examples. For example, if you want to see, maybe you want to look at things like at the account level, if there's a minimum of 500 employees, what does that look like? Maybe there's a problem where the smaller deals don't convert as well, but a lot of your opportunities are coming from the smaller deals. You want to see, if minimum was 100, what does that look like? Well, what about if it's 250? and then 500. Do we have any over 1,000? So you can kind of get the sense of how powerful this is to be able to slice and dice and drill into the data. How are we doing across different industries? Are we doing anything in banking? Well, we had 2 people respond in banking, and we've scheduled 1 discovery call. So this is what's possible once you get all your data set up, once you get lead to account matching set up, and this just works out of the box once you're pushing leads and contacts into Salesforce campaigns and you're attaching contacts to opportunities. You'll be able to get this rich insight and know that your metrics, KPIs, conversion rates, all of those are 100% accurate, and you can drill into the underlying data and see what that looks like as well. So that's tip number 8, using campaign members for metrics, KPIs, funnels, and conversion rates. So that's it for the 8 tips. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or want to know how to implement some of this stuff in more detail, please feel free to reach out to me. My email is andrew@align.ly. That's ALIGN.ly. More than happy to answer questions or give you a demo of the product or help you install our free Salesforce application. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye.